Learning English, Intermediate Grammar, Relative Clauses. Hello and welcome to our English language learning video series. In this video, we will be diving into the topic of relative clauses, specifically focusing on non-defining relative clauses. More specifically, we'll be exploring how to use which for things. So, let's get started. Before we delve into the usage of which for things, let's briefly review what non-defining relative clauses are. Non-defining relative clauses provide additional information about a noun or pronoun in a sentence, but the information is not essential to the overall meaning of the sentence. They are often set apart by commas and can be removed without changing the core meaning of the sentence. For example, the Eiffel Tower, which is located in Paris, is a famous landmark. In this sentence, the non-defining relative clause, which is located in Paris, provides additional information about the Eiffel Tower, but the main sentence, the Eiffel Tower is a famous landmark, still makes sense even without the relative clause. Now that we understand the concept of non-defining relative clauses, let's focus on using which for things. When we want to provide additional information about objects or things, we often use which in non-defining relative clauses. Here's an example. The car, which is blue, belongs to my friend. In this sentence, the non-defining relative clause, which is blue, provides extra information about the car. It helps us understand a specific characteristic of the car, but the information is not necessary to identify which car we are referring to. Remember that which is used for things, objects, or animals. If we are referring to people, we use who instead. Let's compare. The book, which I borrowed from the library, is really interesting. The author, who wrote that book, is a renowned novelist. In the first sentence, which is used to provide additional information about the book, while in the second sentence, who is used to give extra information about the author. When using non-defining relative clauses with which, it's important to consider the punctuation and placement. As mentioned earlier, non-defining relative clauses are usually set apart by commas. This separation helps to distinguish the additional information from the main sentence. Let's look at an example. The computer, which was expensive, broke down last night. The comma before and after the non-defining relative clause helps to separate it from the main sentence. Furthermore, when the non-defining relative clause appears in the middle of a sentence, it can often be surrounded by commas. However, if the clause appears at the end of the sentence, it is typically followed by a single comma. For example, the movie, which I watched yesterday, was really entertaining. I watched a movie last night, which was really entertaining. Notice how the placement of the non-defining relative clause changes based on whether it appears in the middle or at the end of the sentence, and how the comma placement adjusts accordingly. Congratulations! You've learned how to use which for things in non-defining relative clauses. Remember, non-defining relative clauses provide extra information that is not essential to the core meaning of the sentence. By using which appropriately, you can add valuable details and enhance your English language skills. Keep practicing and incorporating non-defining relative clauses into your